I gotta do this video over because somebody called me and messed it up. So basically, I was talking about PT school and how I'm in my first semester of second year, and we're in finals. So I'm sorry I'm eating right now, but it is like 2 o'clock, and I just got out of my bed because we took a final this morning, and it rocked my world. And we just took one on Friday, and it rocked my world. But let me get to the beginning of the story. This semester has been mentally one of the hardest semesters I've ever had in my life. Like, first year, the work is the hardest physically, but second year, you just have a test like every single week of every single month. Like, there's no full week off where you don't have anything. You have stuff to do all the time. So it's just like stressful. And luckily we only had 3 finals because of COVID, but we had pediatrics on Friday, which was literally the hardest one. Nobody knew what they were doing. So we all just had to like try our best and pray for the best, which luckily I don't have to retake. I don't know what I got, but that was hard. So I spent the week studying for that, and I spent 3 days last week studying for gross anatomy, which is on Wednesday. We just took cardio poem this morning. Cardio poem, that class is hard too, so I knew I didn't have a really good chance. So I spent 2 hard days studying for it, and I went to sleep at like 5 o'clock in the morning both days. So I mean, I gave it my all. I don't feel like it went crazy bad, but just to have to stay, like, I've been at the school from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. every day last week, 5 days out of the week. And then the last 2 days, 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. and then stayed home and studied till 5 a.m. And today and tomorrow, I'll probably be here till 1 a.m. And then I'll take gross and I'll be done. But, like, that is just mentally so much more exhausting than you can even imagine. Like, the hardest part to me of this semester was like having to study and push yourself and work yourself to the point where you're just literally so mentally exhausted and you just can't do, like, you don't have time to have rewards. You don't have time to focus on yourself, to work on yourself, to think about yourself. You just got to study. Like, you just have to do whatever it takes to get the grade. And so, like, you start to feel, I guess, lonely and like, you know, like you're going through it alone, and it just sucks because nobody understands. Like, people outside of this program don't really understand how hard it is because, you know, you just can't really understand anything that doesn't look hard on the outside unless you do it. Like, the mental aspect of it, you can't see me suffering, so you don't know what I'm going through on the inside. And it was like, you know, it was really hard for all of us. Some of us, half of our class, like, started going to therapy. Some people started getting on anti-anxiety medicine. People started going to the doctor for anxiety. Like, this semester was rough. And, you know, people, after, like, you know, 3 weeks of straight tests, 4 weeks of straight tests, people would go home to their significant others and cry and get that comfort they needed and, you know, feel loved. And it was just hard for me because I'm single, so I just felt like I didn't really have that support. I had to wipe my own tears and just keep pushing somehow, even though I was like really mentally exhausted, really mentally done. Like, I don't know, this semester just took everything out of me. But I will say I made it through. Like, my grades are good. I don't know how to look after finals, but right now I have like a 92, a 86, a 87, and a 94. So, I mean, they're good right now, but I just don't. I had to sacrifice a lot to get those grades. Like, this summer I'm gonna have to do some mental work. But, you know, let me put some positive spins on it. I did end up talking to some of my classmate friends about how I felt about the semester, and they felt the same way. They were the ones who encouraged me to get a therapist, and, you know, it really feels good to open up to people who are going through the same thing as you and who understand what you're going through, because then it makes you feel like you're not in it alone and you can do it because other people are doing it even though they're feeling the same way as you. So it just kind of gives you motivation to keep pushing. And, you know, I have my roommate is my classmate, so me and her would just push each other back and forth. Like, whenever somebody was lacking, somebody would pick it up. Whenever somebody needed, like, you know, a pick-me-up or a compliment, we were there. Like, we did a really good dynamic of that, so I feel like I got blessed with that. I did a lot of like spiritual work. I played my favorite gospel single, Yolanda Adams, before every test because I feel like I have to play her or I'm not going to pass. I mean, I don't know. This semester was just crazy. But like I said, talking to classmates is really helpful. Getting close to people, connecting with the teachers. I talked to a few teachers and they understood what we were going through and they were trying to, do their best with it. But I mean, I'm here. I'm about to study for my last final and, I don't feel like the one this morning went terrible. So even though, nobody talks about how hard it is mentally, because it's so hard to describe and to put into words how mentally exhausting it is, we're doing it and we're getting through it. So if you're watching this and you are on the same path as me, you will too.